good year after all of that. You have a good team, right? Good coach, good team, good everything. You have a good team, you always have a good team. But you know, there was a case I was sort of told, what do I know? I said, how's it going? Everything good? I was talking. They said, sir, Sleepy Joe Biden did an ad that you closed football. I said, what do you mean I closed? I didn't close. The guy did an ad, it's called disinformation. It's called the opposite of what the fact is. Not only didn't I close it, I didn't think about it too much, okay? The state should all be open. But I heard about Big Ten football. And because of this ad, I said, hey, wait a minute, I have an idea. It was a fake ad, just like the ad on the grave sites. And that allows me to say that this man is a gross incompetent. He has no idea. Because now, see, I would never talk like that. But when I saw that horrible thing, and nobody's done more for the military than I have, when I saw that horrible ad, an anonymous officer said that Donald Trump said this. I have 28 people now that have come forward saying it's a total lie. They don't care. So they did an ad. Once they did that, I said, well, now the gloves are off. Let's face it, Joe Biden is incompetent. He always was, even in prime time. He was incompetent in prime time. And now he's really incompetent. But because of the ad, I said, you know, it's very interesting, that ad. It's very interesting. Let me call up the commissioner. I called up the commissioner, a very good guy. And I said, Commissioner, what can we do to get Big Ten football back? Well, I don't know. So we started. And we started a little thing, the commissioner, myself, one of my guys, he's fantastic. And within a few days, it started getting talked about. And then we kept it going, and we helped them with some testing, because we have the greatest testing in the world. We get no credit for it. We've tested almost 100 million people. India is second with 38. And they have 1.5 million people, slightly more than you. But I will tell you, so all of a sudden they had schools. Then it looked like it was going to open without Michigan and without a couple of states. And then all of a sudden the pressure became so great. And the full league is opening now, and it's going to be very exciting. And I will tell you, it's not a question of taking credit, but truly, we were the ones that did that. I mean, it was, you know, I'll tell you when I do it and when I don't. But it was closed, it was gone, it was announced that it was closed. And what really spurred me on was when Sleepy Joe announced that I was the one that did it. I said, I didn't even know it was closed. But once I found out it was, I called the commissioner. He was really good, I tell you. And we called a couple of the top people at the universities, and they got it going. It looked like we had 7 schools, 8 schools. All of a sudden, everybody fell into line. I think they're all open now. Every one of them is participating. So I want to thank the commissioner. I want to thank all of those schools. May the best team win. In other words, Ohio State.
The Ohio State. The Ohio State.
You know who the best opponents were? The players, and especially the parents of the players. You know, these kids have a short window to get into the NFL, to create some excitement and how good they are. You have a lot of potential players, but they couldn't play football. And they said, we're safer on the field than we are staying at home. And they meant it. And we did something, and I'm happy about it, so enjoy the football. Enjoy it. Under 16 years of Presidents Obama and Bush, median household income rose only $2,945. So remember that. That's 16 years, 2009. So let's say 3,000. Under 3 years of President Trump, it rose almost $7,000. Okay, so think of that. 16 years, 3 years, achieving the highest median income in the history of our country. In my first 3 years, we lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty, the largest poverty reduction of any president in the history of our country. We built the greatest economy in the history of the world, and we are doing it again. We're building it again. You know, I see those signs, Make America Great Again. So I say this, it's called now, Make America Great Again. Because we did it, and then we had to close it up. We saved millions of lives. If we didn't do that, you would have 3 million people. It would have been terrible. It would have been just it's terrible anyway. They shouldn't have allowed it to happen in China. To defeat the China virus, we launched the largest mobilization since World War II. Through pioneering therapies, we reduced the fatality rate 85% since April. Think of that. That's remdesivir and all of the things, the plasma, all the different things, and when you see what's coming on, Europe is almost 30% greater excess mortality rate than the United States. And that's before today's big breakout. You know, they had a big breakout in Europe. And they keep saying in the fake news, they keep saying about, oh, Europe. Well, we're doing better than Europe. And I hate to see what happened. And it had a big impact in the market today because it was a bad thing. But they had a big hit, and they'll take care of it. They know how to do it. They'll take care of it. And we're working very closely with Europe and other countries, including on the vaccine. We have 3 vaccines right now that are right there. They're right at the starting gate, and they're going to be fantastic. So it's good. And with Biden, if you had that regime, you'd be 3 years away because they would have never gotten out of the FDA. What we've done in a very safe manner is amazing. Now remember this, Biden was in charge of the swine flu, right? It's called the H1N1. Remember, he calls it the N1H1. I said, no, H comes before the N. It's so easy. But he goes, the N1H1. We said, no, but it's the swine flu. Maybe we just call it the swine flu. He did such a gross, horrible job on that. And his own man who was in charge of it said they didn't have a clue, they didn't know what they were doing. It was a much less lethal disease. And they lost many people. It was totally incompetently. And now I got this guy standing up. Well, we're giving him advice. His own guy that ran it, did everybody see this? Is saying they didn't have a clue what they were doing. It was so bad. I don't know why the hell he said it, to be honest with you. Who would say that? Maybe because he was honest. Does that make sense? And now Biden gets up and he's saying to do the same things as we've already done. He basically took our plan and he said, this is what you should do. But we've among the lowest case fatality rates of any major country in the world and the fastest economic recovery by far of any Western nation by far. Our bold and early action saved millions of lives, and our decisive economic response saved tens of millions of jobs, including 1.9 million jobs in the state of Ohio. You know that, He's got one of them. He's got one of them. Through Operation Warp Speed, we're developing these great vaccines, and that's going to be literally, these will be done in record time, like nobody's ever done it before. On November 3rd, Ohio will decide whether we end the pandemic and return to record prosperity, or whether we allow sleepy Joe Biden and his group of incompetents to delay the vaccine, shut down the country. He actually suggested that he would shut down the country. We now know the disease. We didn't know it. Now we know it. It affects elderly people with heart problems and other problems. If they have other problems, that's what it really affects. That's it. In some states, thousands of people, nobody young, below the age of 18, like nobody. They have a strong immune system. Who knows? You take your hat off to the young, because they have a hell of an immune system. But it affects virtually nobody. It's an amazing thing. By the way, open your schools. Everybody open your schools. Sleepy Joe Biden wants to impose a $4 trillion tax hike, ban American energy, destroy the suburbs, give free health care to illegal aliens. How about that one? And you know the bad part about that? Look, we all have heart. We want to take care of people. The problem with that is everybody's going to come to the United States. People that weren't even thinking about it, they're going to say, oh man, these idiots are given free health care, free college education, they're given free everything. They're giving a Rolls Royce to every family that enters through the southern border. Remember I said that jokingly, and CNN said, he misrepresented, they're not getting a Rolls Royce. I agree.